So, the Czech Republic versus Ireland in the World Cup playoffs semi-final. Is that a dream draw or a total nightmare? Did Troy Parrott's last-minute winner against Hungary actually change Ireland's destiny? And be honest, was Hungary's defeat a bit of football karma coming back to bite them? Oh, and what on earth happened between the Czech ultras and the players with Soucek and Coufal front and center? Hello everyone, welcome back to the Footglish podcast. My name is Denek Lucas. I'm an English teacher and I do this podcast for all English learners around the world who love football. And today I have a guest from Ireland, and you might be wondering why. Why have you invited a guest from Ireland? Well, the reason is as follows, because you see, a few hours ago, the Czech Republic national team drew Ireland in the World Cup Qualifier playoffs. And I think there was a fantastic story of the Irish national team, this qualification group. So I think it's actually a great opportunity to talk to an Irish fan here. Welcome to the podcast, Cathal. Welcome back.
Thanks very much, Danny. Great to be back under such great circumstances again, being back, you know.
I think actually you will be prouder of your team than me, but we can discuss that here. It's like a reaction, like a sort of draw reaction or preview of our match, which is in March next year. So it's like,
so we're super prepared.
Yeah, it's like 4 months time, or was it even longer than that, something like that, 5 months time maybe. Yeah. Right. So how on earth did you pull that off? Because from what I heard, I wasn't really following your group much until this started happening. Yeah. So then everybody knew. And we will talk about your new national hero, Parrott, the guy that scored 5 goals to make this happen for you. But at first, like, you were not doing very well in your group, were you?
No, not at all, in fact. And we ended up losing to Armenia. So the team that ended up, bottom of the group after everything was said and done, we actually lost to them away from home. So it's just one of those things where, every result had to go right for us in the last 3 games, and somehow it did. And I tell you now, the mood around the Irish football team has just completely turned on a sixpence, as they might say, completely flipped 180 degrees in the last week and a half, because it went from total doom and gloom, this is the worst Irish team we've ever seen. This is just like a calamity. We have they obviously a lot of the media were making fun of the fact that the national manager Heimer Hallgrimsson is a practicing dentist in Iceland, and he's somehow so he's the same coach that coached the Iceland team that beat England in the
Euros.
The Euros a couple of years back, and then he went and took over the Jamaican national team, and then subsequently took over our national team after that. So
wow.
He's got a good track record, but
right.
Yeah.
You take me back. So you said the first 3 games, after 3 games you had how many points? Was it 2 points or something like that?
So we had lost away to Armenia. We had drawn at home to Hungary, and then we had lost in the last minute to Portugal away. So we needed to
2 points. 2 points after 3 games. So it looks like a really 1 point.
Yeah. So then we had to win
you lost
3 games.
To Armenia. You lost to Armenia, right? You lost to Armenia, lost to Portugal, only 1 point against Hungary. So basically, it looked really desperate after 3 games with 1 point. You're bottom of the league, probably.
Yeah, completely. So, it was Hallgrimsson out. That everybody wanted the dentist to go back to Iceland and leave the national job. He was on the chopping block for that, and just somehow I think a mixture of desperation and courage, let's say, has managed to get us through. Not even to the World Cup, to the playoffs,
Right. You didn't win the group. But Portugal topped the league, but you finished second, which was good enough for you to get into that playoffs draw.
Exactly.
And so you had to beat. You had to, as you said, 3 results had to go your way. So you had to get 9 points.
Yeah.
And if you got 1 point less or 2 points less, it wouldn't have happened.
Would not have happened. Yeah, it would have been Hungary going to the playoffs, and Dominic Szoboszlai and his team would have been knocking on your door instead of me.
Okay, but I think firstly that was a remarkable victory over Portugal of all teams. Portugal, as we know, is one of the best teams in the world. And they also have Cristiano Ronaldo, but Ronaldo actually got his first ever red card for the national team against Ireland, and it was part of the reason you managed to beat Portugal 2-0. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that was the reason, because we were already 2-0 up by the time Ronaldo got his red card. So we went up very early on, and a lot of people might look at that scoreline and think, oh, well, Portugal must have played, their B team, or, put out a lot of youngsters. But no, all the big hitters were there. You had Vitinha, João Neves, as you said, Cristiano Ronaldo was there, Bernardo Silva, all the kind of the unusual names that you think of when it comes to Portuguese football were there, but went ahead through a set piece in the 16th minute, and then Troy Parrott doubled his account just before
everybody in
half-time.
Ireland knows this guy now, right? He scored a brace in this game, 2 goals.
Yes, yeah. So it was emphatic.
He was a hero in that game. And if that was not enough, he scored a hat-trick in the following game against Hungary away from home. Yeah. And Hungary only needed 1 point in that game. Yeah. And I think, were they in control most of the game, or was it a bit nervy for them?
I have to say, we kind of, watching it live, we came out a lot more timid than I thought we would. I mean, we were still playing positively, but, Hungary are the type of team where they have the players to be able to kind of hold the ball for longer spells than we would. Especially with the way that Ireland set up. We set up a lot more on the counter-attack. With our kind of wide wing backs as well, providing that too. But yeah, it was just it was such a strange game, because there was penalty shouts, there was all sorts of pushing and shoving an awful lot of the time. A lot of time wasting was going on. So it was kind of a couple of times I kind of found myself laughing at the commentary team, who were almost like saying, this is, wow, Hungary are really wasting a lot of time here. I wonder how much the referee is going to add on at the end of the match. And it turned out to be just enough time for us to get
6 minutes. It was 6 minutes. They added on 6 minutes. The result was 2-2 for a long time. Again, Troy Parrott scoring 2 goals. Again, a brace.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't enough for Ireland. You needed 1 more goal. And the clock was ticking.
Yeah, they literally, so the Hungarians cleared the ball on the 95th minute, and you could see up in the top it says +5, 501, 502, and it gets cleared away to the halfway line, and everyone in the house, and I'm sure everyone across the country is going, oh no, that's it, it's all gone. And then all of a sudden, the referee just lets us play on, and Kevin Kelleher just pings this ball perfectly into the box. Scales gets the nod on, which is just as important, I think. If he doesn't win that header, we don't have a chance, but he gets it onwards towards the goal, and the man himself, the man of the moment, Troy Parrott, just touched it in ahead of the keeper.
But there was a lot to do for him. I saw that goal, of course, the clip. I think everybody has seen that, and that was just such a goal of courage and will. Like, he really wanted to make that happen. He had to stretch his leg so bloody far, and I think he hit the ball with his sole, right?
Oh yeah,
the sole of his foot, and it was just enough, like a small flick, but just enough, and it was just to stretch this, like it was like yoga stretch or something. And and it went in, and then the commentators they were wondering, could that be an offside? But of course it wasn't, and I think everybody was ecstatic at that point. The Irish players, they just couldn't believe what had just happened. Troy Troy Parrott took off his shirt, right, and started running around like a crazy person, celebrating his last clutch, like this amazing goal that meant history for Ireland, and all the fans super happy. And I think you could see the desperation in Hungarian players' faces, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, and especially like I think it was quite funny that both matches, the Portugal match and the Hungarian match, both of the star players for both teams were doing the kind of crybaby hand gestures towards Irish players, Irish fans, and they ended up then getting the reverse treatment.
Why would you ever do that against a team that also like believes in God so much and such a religious team? It's like so much blasphemy for Hungary to get involved in. And I saw Dominic Szoboszlai did that as well. I'm sorry, it's just karma. Like, why would you ever do anything like that? Just have respect for your opponents. Have just some sort of, at least, like minimal respect, or how, I don't know how to put it, but like elementary respect for your opponents. You may not like them, right? You may not. You may hate your opponent, but at least like you're playing football, right? Anything can happen. Don't, when you score, just enjoy the moment. Don't go laughing in the face of your opponent when that happens. I absolutely hate this sort of thing because it always backfires.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was certainly kind of quite funny to see, and especially when I saw Szoboszlai do it, I said, "Oh, I remember somebody else who did that a couple of days ago." And I was turning to my brother, and my brother was like, "Shut up, the game's not going to go that way. No, there's no chance, no chance."
Did. So now this happened, and of course, I can tell you a little bit about the Czech national team's journey. I'm afraid it's not as exciting as yours, and it's not really as interesting as well. Basically, we ended up in that larger group of 5 teams. I don't think there were that many of those. I think mostly the groups had just 4 teams, but we had 5. And so we had Croatia there, who were the main favorite, and rightly so. They gave us no chance in Croatia. We lost 5-1 to them. And that set the tone for the rest of the qualification. But because even if we had, like, there was a moment when we were about to play them at home, and even if we had lost that, even if we had won that game, they had a better goal difference at that point. So like, it wouldn't have mattered much. But we drew that game 0-0. But something even more incredible happened after that result. We lost to Faroe Islands 2-0 away from home, but Faroe Islands of all teams. So the mood in the national team wasn't very good. After that, the coach was fired.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the coach was fired. We still were in a comfortable position to finish second. So because we managed to beat Montenegro twice, and then the other teams is, how many did I say there were? Yeah, Faroe Islands and Gibraltar
is the other one. Yeah, you beat
so
Gibraltar
the last
like
game.
5 or 6-0, didn't you?
So that was the last. Yeah, but that was this latest qualification. It was this latest international break, right? So we had two games to play with the new interim manager or bridge manager, Jaroslav Kessel. And the first game was a friendly. Of all teams, we decided to invite San Marino. We played against San Marino at home. So I don't know, first of all, like whose idea it was to play against a team like that. This is one of the, obviously, the strongest teams you can face in Europe. And we somehow scraped a 1-0 victory over them.
Wow.
And we only had one shot on goal. And that's despite having a penalty, because Soucek blasted it wide.
Oh
so
my gosh.
We had a penalty, which wasn't really a penalty. And then Soucek scored the only goal. And then we had a lot of chances, but they all went. Nobody was hitting the target. So like, we were the better team, you could say. But like 1-0 against San Marino, oh my God. We were in such terrible mood. Like the whole nation, like very skeptical. We can be a little bit like that, the Czechs. Like we are not really super patriotic. We are only patriotic when the team is doing okay. But when when we are in trouble, everybody starts blaming everyone and a little bit like that.
Mhm.
So the mood in the team was very bad, and we have like this. We don't have that many fans, to be honest. Like, we are a small country, and also people like the club football at the moment more than the national team.
Okay.
But there is a group of fans, like they call themselves the Fanaticos or something like that. It's like the ultras.
Ultras, yeah.
Yeah, and they were not really happy about this, because we also a few months before that we also drew against Saudi Arabia at home. Then we lost to Faroe Islands, and we only beat San Marino 1-0, right? So I think the fans are starting to get a bit pissed off, and they on social media they organized they prepared some sort of mini protest that they would shout in the following game, which was against Gibraltar. They would shout a chant, or they would sing something like "Fight for Czechia," which sounds like nothing too bad, right? But it's just like it implies like you should try harder, but it's maybe a little bit provocative, but not that much, in my opinion. It's not like I don't know. It's they did that in that game against Gibraltar, which we started.
It seemed to work anyway. They won 6-0.
Yeah. We scored like in the second minute, the first goal. So we started off really well and kept scoring goals. Even Coufal scored a goal, and a few times they chanted that "Fight for Czechia," and then after the game, the players decided not to go. They thanked the stands like everywhere else, but they didn't go to the ultras. And the reason for that was that they got they got offended by the chant "Fight for Czechia," apparently. And then they were like not happy at all. It was like confusion. The commentators didn't know what was going on. And then after a few minutes, Soucek and Coufal went to the stand to explain why they didn't go, because the fans were really pissed off, those ones, the ultras. If we say ultras, this was just a group of, I don't know, 100 fans or 200 fans, but it's still right. And they said something along the line. They were like, they had a microphone there as well. They were shouting at each other, the players and the fans.
The fans, yeah.
And Soucek got the microphone, and he said, "Hey, we just want more unity. We want to be together. We need you. But we also didn't come to thank you today." It was just and the players, they got so much stick for that from the media, from everyone, from the fans.
Wow.
So much heavy criticism was levied on them. And Soucek, as a result of this, was also stripped of captaincy. I don't know if it's for one game only. I'm not sure, or forever, I don't know, but it was just it had a real impact. Can you imagine, right? So instead of celebrating a decent win, 6-0 win, and securing the second spot in the group, there's like so much negativity. Like, the journalists were talking about that incident more than the game, obviously. And Soucek is also such a nice guy, right? So there's a lot of speculation. Was this even his idea?
Okay.
Did they just plant him there? Like, did they say, "Hey, somebody needs to say something"? Was he speaking for the players? What about Coufal? At Coufal, he was crazy there. He was like, somebody was shouting things like you dighead and things like that. Fans would do that, but he shouted back at them as well, like something similar. And it was all caught on camera as well, right?
Okay.
So absolute mad scenes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
That's
players didn't get the bonus as well. So there was a decision, because Pavel Nedvěd is now the
director of the national team, isn't he? Or is he
like a spokesperson? I think, I don't know exactly the role. I can't remember the role, but he's got some sort of a role like that. Sports director, maybe. He's not the chairman, obviously, but
a general manager,
right? So he's like he sort of speaks for the team like that in the press conference, and they're all saying, "We didn't know about this. Nobody knew about this. It was the players' decision, right? Even the coach didn't know about it." I don't understand how coach couldn't know about it. Shouldn't coach go with the team to thank the fans? I always thought that after the game, it's not just the players, it's the coach too. So how can coach not know about it? I don't get it. basically it was Soucek's responsibility. Like he went there, even if it wasn't his idea, he went there. And so I think it's the right decision to do that to him.
You think it's the right decision to take the captaincy away from him?
Yeah, because it was such a disaster, such a sort of PR disaster. Like it was
right before a playoff, though.
It wasn't the first one as well. Like we have had so many strange moments. Like in the game against Faroe Islands, there was another player, Václav Černý. In an interview, he walked away from the interview because they asked him a question he didn't want to hear. Like there's too much arrogance, basically, from players who have been playing shit. Yeah, so it's a real mess. And now there was this draw. Like so, at least we had to beat San Marino and Gibraltar. By the way, we had to beat even San Marino to make this happen, to keep that pot 2. Pot 2 was important for us because pot 2 meant we would play the first game at home. But we had to beat San Marino. We beat them 1-0. And then Gibraltar. We had to beat Gibraltar. We did it. And those are like 2 worst teams in Europe. Like if you look at the ranking, there are no worse teams than those 2. Basically.
They're pretty low. They're pretty low.
And to be honest, actually, Gibraltar were way worse than San Marino. San Marino were very, very... They kept running the whole game. They didn't give up. They just defended really well. Gibraltar was an easier opponent.
Okay. So how do you feel going then into the playoffs then from your perspective? Because to me anyway, obviously, being able to play at home is a massive advantage. But with all the stuff that you've just explained there, will it actually be an advantage for you guys to be at home and playing in front of those fans again?
I think it has to be. It has to be because there is a massive difference if we had to play in Ireland with your crowd like going crazy. It's like it would be the same like playing in Scotland or any other team. To be honest, even there was a good chance we could go to the Balkans. Yeah, so we could either get you, Albania, Kosovo.
There was a couple of them that were in the kind of
one
same...
more. Bosnia. Yeah.
Bosnia.
So we were happy. Actually, it's better. Okay, 20,000 stadium is not much. Our biggest stadiums have either Sparta or Slavia Stadium. I think it will be one of those. But it will be mostly Czech fans there, right? Supporting the Czech team. So it's a huge advantage. And if that wasn't enough, we also drew the second game would be a home game for us too, which would that was 50-50. So if we beat you somehow, then the next game would be against either Macedonia or Denmark
at home.
And yes, I know Denmark is a good team, not to underestimate Macedonia, but it's not. I think the draw is actually favorable for the Czech team because there was a chance to get Italy or Turkey or Ukraine or Poland, I think. So this is actually not too bad. Now, I want to ask you how you feel about this then, because I don't know if you wanted Czech Republic or would you have taken someone else instead? Or
look, I think that, as soon as the result and the kind of dust settled from the Hungarian game, a lot of people started looking at all the different permutations and results that needed to go our way if we wanted to have a home draw for the semi-final of the playoffs. And that was just kind of like, I think, more hope than anything else. I don't think we were really rooting or expecting to be at home for the semi-final. So I think the players would be fairly prepared for that going in there. In terms of our chances, look, at this stage with this team, I don't really know what to expect. They could come out and they could put on another fantastic display. They could come out and they can get absolutely annihilated. It's in March as well, so it's so far away. It's kind of
it's far away, right? A lot can happen. Injuries, players' forms. But you have that momentum, and now this is like a historic moment, right? Everybody was talking about it. The whole world knew what happened there. It's such a great story for you. And Parrott scoring 5 goals, like the most famous bird in years.
Well, that's the thing that's going around the slogan, I guess, that's going around is that we sent a turkey to the Eurovision. Now we're sending a Parrott to the World Cup. Back in the days when we sent, oh my God, Ireland sent like a puppet turkey character to the Eurovision one year for whatever reason. But no, I think that, the big thing for me is obviously, as you say, form and injuries. The big question would be what happens if Evan Ferguson is fit by the time March rolls around. Does the manager stick with Parrott up top? Does he try and change things and put Ferguson and Parrott up there? Parrott
has to play. Like literally, he single-handedly made this happen for you. Like
yeah.
He scored all 5 goals.
He was second fiddle to Ferguson the last while anyway. But yeah, now that you've seen he's gotten his chance, he's really taking it with both hands. Which is great to see wings too. Yeah, true. It's great to see from an Irish fan's perspective. A young guy, 23 years old. There's the possibility for building a team around him because for the longest time, the last couple of years, everybody kind of was down in the dumps about this team, and our best player we always thought was Caoimhín Kelleher, our goalkeeper. It still might be. I mean, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, but it's good to have an outfield player now, at least, that we can kind of build around to be the centerpiece of the tean.
Yeah.
So,
well, our team, we don't even have a coach now. Yeah, so we have an interim coach, and it's someone. He's like an up and coming young manager. He's younger than me. Like he's like 37 or 8 years old, maybe older than you, probably, right? But you're like in your 30s, right, as well? I think.
Just 30 now, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Welcome. And so what's interesting about this guy is that he had never been the main coach before. So it's a real question whether we should take such a huge risk. Yes, he's got credit in the bank beating San Marino and Gibraltar.
What fantastic credit to have.
Is that enough? Like he's got 100% record after those 2 games. Like you could say that, but we haven't played a better team yet. So he hasn't coached his team against a better team. So that's the question. There are suggestions of hiring Fatih Terim, the Turkish manager, who's now like, I don't know, in his like 70s or 80s, very old, super old, and or Jürgen Klinsmann. So apparently,
experience, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he coached the American national team before, but apparently we don't have money for those. They're too expensive for us. So these were Pavel Nedvěd's ideas, but now they are too expensive. We found out that they are asking for too much money. So we're looking for a cheaper solution, but cheaper also isn't always better, right? So
I'll do it. I'll do a temporary thing. I'll do it until March, and there'll be absolutely no ulterior motive whatsoever.
Yeah, you're Irish. I don't think that's a good idea. You go against your own team. I think you would be like an secret agent there in your team.
Yeah, just
working against us.
Not going to play Soucek, not going to play Coufal, Patrick Schick. We'll leave Patrick Schick at home. Like, just leave them all the best players.
Might be a good idea because he was the worst player against Gibraltar. He hit the post once and missed all his chances, and it was other players scoring, not him. Yeah, so we are both looking forward to this game, I suppose. We're still friends until this game happens, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have the common, the Arsenal thing to bond over and keep close
right.
over, in the meantime. But then as soon as March rolls around, Zdenek, I don't want to see your face for like
I think well, it doesn't. Whoever loses their game, I think one of us, that person wouldn't want to see the other. I think the winner of that game wouldn't mind, but whoever loses that. So that's why I think we can agree not to see each other until maybe Arsenal wins the title. Then we can have another podcast to celebrate Arsenal's title victory. Yeah, that would be okay, I guess.
Touch wood.
Nice one, Carl. Thanks very much for featuring on the Footglish podcast, and have a good one, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks a million, Zdenek.
Take care. Welcome back to the Language Corner. As always, in this part of the show, I'm going to take a look at the English language because I assume you guys know that this is an English learning podcast. So not only do we talk about football here and you have the opportunity to listen to the interview with my guest, but importantly, we also explain here some vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. Usually it's vocabulary. And today I would like to take a look at some phrasal verbs that were said by us in the interview. Mostly it was Cathal. That's because he is from Ireland. He's a native speaker, and native speakers notoriously use a lot of phrasal verbs. And that's why we are often puzzled and confused. And also, I have to say, it is a challenge to learn phrasal verbs because there are so many of them. They all look very similar. They have multiple meanings. And so they can be a bit of a nightmare. However, I'm here to make everything easier for you because, guys, I'm an English teacher in case you didn't know it. I think you knew that. But let's get started, shall we? I asked Carl, how on earth did you pull that off? How did you manage to finish second? So basically, I was referring to Ireland's fantastic finish in their qualification group. And to pull something off is a very nice phrasal verb, which means to manage something, to manage to do something, to achieve something, right? So how did you manage to achieve that? How on earth did you pull that off? P-U-L-L, and the particle is off, to pull something off. Then Carl said, we didn't start well. We ended up losing to Armenia. So if you end up doing something, it is followed by another verb in an ing form. So we ended up losing to Armenia. That's what happened to Ireland. And if you end up doing something, it means you finally do something or something finally happens, often unintentionally or unexpectedly. So there is like an element of like a surprise, or there's a twist to the story, basically. And it's a result of a series or actions or events. In this case, the actions were like several games, I guess, or the match itself, right? And maybe they played all right in that game, but then they ended up losing. So there's like a contrast, twist to the story. Right. A lot of people thought Portugal team must have played their B team or put out a lot of youngsters. So basically, that was how everyone was surprised about Ireland's win over Portugal. But actually, they played their best team with Ronaldo up front. And so Carl said a lot of people thought that Portugal must have played their B team or put out a lot of youngsters. So if you put out a lot of players who are youngsters, the verb to put out can have a lot of different meanings, but here it means to sort of deploy, to like distribute, like, how to explain it? Basically, this is the lineup you put out, right? This is if you are the manager of the Irish team, the Ireland national team, the Irish team, then you basically put out these players. You deploy these players, right? Does it make sense? I hope so. We set up a lot more for counterattacks against Portugal. That's another sort of a phrasal verb that Cathal used. If you set up in a certain way, it means that you establish some sort of system, that you come up with some kind of strategy. That's what it means here. You can set up a company as well, organization. You can set up a system, set up a way of working, way of thinking, right? So it's something formal usually that has some kind of structure. Right. I don't really know what to expect. They could come out and put on another great performance. They could come out and get annihilated. So I think this was when I asked Carl what he thinks about the game against Czechia, which will happen in March next year, and what he expects to happen in that game. And he said they could come out and put on another great performance. So if you come out, you sort of appear, right? It's clear. You begin performing. You come out. You begin performing. You begin playing. You appear, right? You come out and put on another great performance. This is used together. Put on a performance. If you put on a performance, you present or produce a performance, right? That's clear. I think these phrasal verbs are self-explanatory. Some of them, anyway. Then Carl said, "That's the slogan. There's a slogan that's going around. We send a turkey to Eurovision, which is some kind of puppet character of a turkey, the bird, right? Which is like a joke, I guess. And now we are sending a parrot to the World Cup, right? So basically, the Irish have a good sense of humor. But when there is a slogan going around, right, that means it's circulating. It's doing the rounds. So it's sort of widespread. It's popular. People are talking about it. In this case, maybe it was in the media. People were spreading this sort of joke or whatever. Right. Next. The big question is what happens if Ferguson, the Irish striker Ferguson, is fit by the time March rolls around. I noticed Carl used this phrasal verb to roll around twice in this interview. And it basically means comes, when March comes. As you can see, it's often used with certain time expressions, like in this case, the month, March. When Mars comes around or rolls around or comes in this case. Okay, guys, I think that's it for today. I know it was a bit longer. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought, how you enjoyed it or not. You know, we are ready to accept critical comments as well, because it's part of this business. It's not really a business for me. I do this just for fun, but you never know. You know, one day it could become super popular. Well, not with the consistency of the recent months that I've been having here. But I thought this was a good opportunity to actually put something out and let you know that this podcast is not finished yet. It's still alive and kicking. Thank you very much for listening. And if you enjoyed this as a podcast or video, pop in to the Teacher's Denek YouTube channel and give this video a like, please. And it will be something that I will celebrate for a long, long time, because obviously every like matters, every like counts. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and until next time, bye.